Welcome back to the Integrated Leader Podcast. I am Lauren Marie. We are on day 3 of our micro series, Tension on Purpose, Leading with Power and Heart. In episode 1, we talked about the invisible tension inside high performers, that internal tug of war between behavior and motivation. Yesterday, we explored what it means to be a fast-moving, big-hearted leader, the kind who can light up a room and accidentally wear people out at the same time. Today, we're talking about another kind of tension, one that looks polished and responsible on the outside, but can quietly steal our momentum and joy. It is the tension between standards and execution, and the trap of trying to do everything well, and also fast, and also without disappointing anyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stared at a task you know you could do in 20 minutes, but you haven't touched it in 3 days? It's not because you don't care, and it's not because you're lazy. It's because somewhere in your mind, the idea of how good it should be has started to outweigh the clarity of just getting it done. It's a trap. It's the quiet perfectionism that lives inside a lot of us, especially those who care deeply about service, legacy, and getting it right. And when that perfectionism combines with drive, you get a very specific kind of burnout. The kind where you're constantly working, constantly tweaking, constantly over-delivering, but rarely feeling like it's enough. So where does this come from? In the language of DISC and driving forces, I see this pattern often in leaders who are high influencers. You love to create connection and optimism, and high dominance. You want results fast. But inside, you're motivated by selfless service or idealism. You don't just want to finish, you want it to be meaningful. It's a beautiful combination, but also one that can quietly sabotage your productivity. Because now you're not just trying to lead, you're trying to lead perfectly, with impact and kindness and no mistakes, and somehow without needing help. You're trying to live up to a fantasy of your own making, a hologram version of yourself. I want to say this clearly. Perfectionism is not the same thing as excellence. Excellence asks, what would serve this person or project best right now, given the resources I have? Perfectionism says, if it's not flawless, it's a failure. And that voice, that perfectionistic voice, is a liar. Because most of what moves the needle in leadership is not the perfect slide deck or the pristine process or a gold star email. It's follow through, it's showing up, it's delivering something good enough that keeps momentum alive. So here's what I want to invite you into today. The shift from idealism to iteration. What if instead of holding yourself to the highest possible version of every task, you simply asked, what's one clean, clear step I can take toward completion today? It's not the final draft, not the most impressive version, just one faithful, focused step. Maybe it's sending a 2-sentence update instead of a polished report. Maybe it's picking a minimum viable next step and letting it be enough. Maybe it's asking for help before you've completely run out of time and energy. This isn't laziness, it's leadership. Here's your reflection for today. Where is perfectionism keeping you from delivering value? And what would good enough look like if it were rooted in trust instead of fear? What would it feel like to show up fully, but not flawlessly? To deliver work that is clear, honest, and in motion, even if it isn't polished. Let me leave you with this. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You don't have to have it all figured out to be trustworthy. You don't have to wait until it's beautiful to call it done. Some of the most important things I've ever delivered were also the messiest, the simplest, the most unfinished looking. But they moved something forward. They reached someone who needed it. They kept the door open. And that's what leadership is. Not mastery, but motion. Thanks for being with me today. Tomorrow we'll talk about the tension of sameness. What happens when you work with someone who's just like you, and why that can still lead to conflict and misalignment. It's called When Similar Doesn't Mean Aligned. Until then, I'm Lauren Marie, and this is the Integrated Leader Podcast. I'll see you tomorrow.